What is happening? Something is going on. Can you feel the way?
Well, I've been very interested over the years trying to understand the human journey and where are we on this journey? Who are we? What are we doing here? And so I've been going around the world talking to people about this journey. And in meeting with people in all kinds of settings, I have asked them before I start talking to tell me what they think about where we are in terms of our behavior. In other words, if we look at the behavior of the human family, are we acting like toddlers? Are we acting like teenagers? Are we acting like adults or someone in their old age? And interestingly, whether I've asked this in India, in Europe, in the United States, people all over the world come immediately to an agreement, a consensus. 3/4 typically will vote. We're in our teenage years as a human family. Now, that's extraordinary. If we are in our teenage years, because if you look at teenagers and adolescent psychology, you see that teenagers tend to be rebellious. And here we are rebelling against nature. Teenagers tend to be reckless, and we are showing rather reckless disregard for how we're handling life here on the planet. Teenagers tend to be feeling separate from their parents. They want their independence. Here we are feeling independent and separate from nature. Teenagers tend to be into cliques, who's in, who's out. And here we are with racial groups and ethnic groups and all the rest. You see the point, that we're behaving like we're teenagers. Now that's good news, I feel, in a way, because if we're in our teenage years, it means we've already come from our toddler years up to our teenage years, and we're a short ways from our adulthood. And if you start looking at what adults do around the world when they reach those years, typically they start thinking about the future, they start thinking about the family, and they start thinking about meaningful work. And if we can just make if we can grow a short distance into our early adulthood, we could have a whole different kind of world with a whole different kind of set of human behaviors that characterize life on this earth. So it seems to me we're at a very pivotal cusp point in human evolution as we make that difficult transition as adolescents do into our early adulthood as a human family. I see the intersection of two major sets of trends. One set of trends I would call adversity trends, and the other I would call opportunity trends. And there's the good news and the bad news, if you will, and we need to take a balanced look at what is emerging here and recognizing that adversity is being balanced by opportunity, and what is coming out of this convergence is a time of initiation. And as a human family, if we are in our adolescence, typically an adolescent doesn't get to adulthood without going through a rite of passage, some tough years, a time of initiation. So looking ahead, I think we're looking towards a time not of calamity, but rather of initiation as a human family. And that initiation will happen with the convergence of adversity trends like growing population. We're going to add another 2 billion people probably to the planet in the next 20 years. Climate change, we're altering the world's climate, and that could dramatically change the nature of life here on Earth. We're running out of crucial resources like water. For example, by the 2020s, it's estimated that 40% of the world's population will not have access to enough water to grow their own food. 40% of the world. Now, when you start bringing these kinds of factors together, climate change, overpopulation, overconsumption, global poverty, and all the rest, those are powerful adversity trends that challenge us to wake up to a new kind of relationship with the earth. Can we do it? I think we can, because there are powerful opportunity trends coming along at the same time. Look at the communications revolution happening, the internet. It's extraordinary how the internet is erasing distance and how television is erasing the barriers of language. So language and distance are being erased. We're moving into a transparent world where it's clear that we are all one. Even if there are vast disparities, let's say, in wealth, nonetheless, we're connected in communication. So we're becoming a unified world. So one powerful opportunity trend is the communications revolution, the power to communicate differently. Another powerful trend is the power of choice to live differently, to live more sustainably, to pull back from high consumption lifestyles and choose to live more moderately, a gracious simplicity, an elegant simplicity, if you will. Another powerful trend is the power of perception, a shift towards another way of looking at the world. For the last 300 years, we've tended to look at the world as if it were a dead system. Consumption makes sense. A high consumption lifestyle makes sense in a dead universe. We want to protect ourselves from the deadness. We want to take to ourselves whatever pleasures and aliveness we can. On the other hand, if the universe is alive, and that's what's emerging now from the new physics and the wisdom traditions of the world, the universe is being regarded now as a living organism in its own right. So here we are, life nested within life. And if that's the case, well, then simplicity makes sense, because you want to engage that aliveness. You don't want to insulate yourself from it. You want to engage that aliveness. So with a paradigm of a living universe comes a new sense of communion, connection, relationship, engagement with the world. So that's a third powerful force for transforming what's happening. And the last is the power of love, the power of reconciliation. And I don't mean romantic love, I mean a soulful connection with the universe. And if you look at what's happening in the world, in the Middle East, for example, the talks that are going on right now, in Ireland and other parts of the world, we are experiencing, in South Africa, we are seeing powerful examples of reconciliation happening around the world. So, what I gather from all of this is that when adversity meets these opportunity trends, we have the opportunity not simply for an evolutionary crash. We're seeing that in the movies and such already. We have the opportunity for an evolutionary bounce to achieve something that we've never imagined before. And so that's the future choice that lies before us, is to make that turn, a pivotal turn towards reconnection with the universe and our journey towards home.